What's one of the things you do to judge where kids are at? And let's say most of them have got low self-belief. What's one of the things that you do to help them get a bit of self-belief?
I tend to look at statements that become reality if you let them.
Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Welcome back to another episode of the Prime Life Project podcast. I'm your host, Daniel James, and I'm on Mikey's bus again. Can't get away. I seem to be here more than you, Mikey, I think. I've taken over. Mikey's podcasts are done now. It's just me taking over everything. I'm just dominating everything. I've even stolen your friend today.
It makes it easier for me.
I'm just taking over everything. And you tried to offer me Chrissy before the podcast. I mean, I'm just stealing your life. Is in that movie where it's like, I'm just going to pretend to be you and convince you, gaslight you into convincing that I'm actually Mikey. That's what this is.
I'm looking at myself now.
That's exactly what it is. So today I'm joined by Jody Seaton, one of Mikey's friends. How are you, Jody?
Hello, I'm good. I'm well, thank you very much. Yeah.
Good, well. And you're more branded. You're a man that's even more branded up than me. So normally I'm known for being branded. You're branded. You've got a strong beard. For fuck's sake! Why have you got to get guys like this, Mikey? Trying to outbeard me. Should have known I'd trim myself up.
Your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault, and it's always my fault. I've been Mikey for everything. Looking forward to today. So like I said, we only spoke briefly before today.
Yep.
But we're on the same mission.
Yes.
Which I wanted to get you on here because it's all right me spouting my shit and getting guests that are kind of like Mikey and we just talk the same stuff, but get someone completely external that I don't know, never met before. I'm really intrigued to go into your story about what's led you into the path that you're on now and basically all the goodness that you're doing in the world, because you've got the passion for me, trying to help kids. And that's one big thing for me. And again, both talking to schools, but I'm more interested at the start to talk about your background. Yep. So you've had a really, really interesting background. Can you talk to me? Start wherever you want, wherever you feel comfortable. But again, we spoke a little bit about it when we spoke the other day, but just give me a bit of an overview about the life that you had growing up.
Okay, so I'm from a sort of rural-ish town. So it's in the middle of, on the outskirts, should I say, of Chesterfield and Sheffield. So it's bang in the middle of the borders of both places. And so in my experience, two things happen to those towns. So either you get loads of rich people that move in and it becomes really affluent and it's got good transport links and X, Y, Z and those areas become really affluent. Or, in my case, what happened was a mining village. So it had money coming in from the mines and also from the steel industry.
Yes. Which
both shut within a short space of time from each other. So all the money went the other way out of the town for a long period of time. And it became somewhat deprived. It had poor transport links as well, and it was bang in the middle of a major town and a major city in the country. So, there wasn't much money around. So we had to get creative in terms of how we entertained ourselves, because we didn't have money to go to cinemas and laser quests and bowling and things like that.
Is it very much like Billy Elliot? That style? The other people trying to visualise it, is it kind of that style sort of area? Was it kind of that bad back in the day?
It's probably not that bad. More like Full Monty.
Okay, there you go.
So big job centre queues.
Yep.
People working jobs and fiddling the benefits agencies. So it's a bit more like that. Big council estates. And kids, a lot of groups of kids hanging around together, entertaining themselves on shop corners, shop fronts, behind the chippy, that sort of thing. Getting a ball with all the leather falling off and kicking it around until it completely deflates.
It reminds me very much of the outskirts of Nottingham. So obviously like Mansfield area. So obviously like Mansfield, I'm from Nottingham, the outside of Nottingham, Mansfield. Like that basically was very similar, but that was more just purely mining. Left. Completely sort of left. So you're a product of that. So your parents were sort of around there. Or were you born around that sort of time as well? Like how old were you when all this was kicking off?
I was probably about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Up to being about 10 or 11.
So you really grew up during that bad period then?
Yeah. And then obviously I had my mum and my dad, and then they broke up as well, which made it more difficult. So then you're a single parent family in a area with not much money.
Yeah.
So things can be a challenge, but my mum, I never realised that until now.
Yeah.
Like you grow up and you realise all the things that you weren't aware of as a kid. But my mum made it sort of go away.
Yeah, so you had no idea actually how bad it was.
No. But you don't. You only know your own reality, don't you?
Oh, God, I'm getting deep already. Fucking hell, oh, here we go.
This is the truth.
Yeah.
So where I live now, Belper, where, when I first moved down here, people are like, well, watch out for that area, or you've got to watch out for that area. And it's the same wherever you go. I've worked in inner city Nottingham, inner city Birmingham. People say you've got to watch out for these areas, or they're rough, or they're dangerous, or they're this, that. But if you talk to the people that live there, they're not.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely people.
Because they're lovely people, and their reality is that area.
Yeah, absolutely.
so it's just what you know.
And it's one of the things where you get that, and again, you get it sometimes with the travelling community.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's some absolute wankers in the travelling community. There's some wankers in every community.
Correct.
But from the travellers that I've known, you don't bother them, they don't bother you.
No.
And that is the way with most people.
Yeah.
So you can go into the worst. So I've been in the in South Africa. So I went into the townships. So I went to Soweto, which is one of the biggest townships in South Africa. You've never seen anything like it. As in, the poverty is unbelievable. Got David Beckham posters for their wallpaper. It's literally just a shack. Like, a shed in this country is big for them. All these kids with bare feet. You've got gun shops on the corner. It was bad. Happiest, most friendly people we've ever met on the planet. And I don't think I've told a story on the podcast. So the currency there is rand. So I had the equivalent of about £100 in my camera little pouch. Back in the day, you used to have cameras, actual proper digital cameras. So I was taking photos of sheep's heads, so sheep skulls, and one of their delicacies is like eating these sheep skulls. So I was like, "Fucking, I'll take a photo of that." So I took this and I took a photo. And as I walked off, this £100, sorry, we've got £100, but it's equivalent £100, had fallen on the floor. This kid runs after me and says, "Oh, excuse me, you've dropped your money."
Wow.
In this, honestly, like the most deprived, one of the most deprived areas in Africa.
Yeah.
I turned around and says, "Keep it."
Amazing.
Keep it. Because I'd never known I'd lost it. Not a clue. And I thought, fucking hell. And that's in that area. But again, to the people in the main area of South Africa, Cape Town, which is right on the outskirts of Cape Town, they're like, "Oh, don't go there, it's a shithole. People are X, Y, and Z." No, they're not. They're a product of the environment. It's not their fault that they're there. Just like with you, it's not your fault that the mine's closed down. It wasn't your parents' fault that it closed down.
No.
You have to adapt.
Yeah.
Talk to me about living. You spoke a little bit about to me before about single parent household, about your dad and how you had to find your dad.
Okay, before we go to that, I just want to know where you keep the pictures of the sheep's head. Are they beside the bed or above the fireplace?
What I did was I've actually turned them into a fucking fuck off. Don't do edit. Fuck. I tried to make a joke about that. Oh, my team is going to laugh at that. The fact I couldn't think of a comeback then. I have no comeback. Yes, it's about my bed. Just there. I've got Mikey on one side, and I've got sheep's heads on the other.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck between two evils. So talk to me about your dad and pubs.
Oh yeah. So growing up, obviously, mum and dad were together. Again, around age 6 or 7, you become aware of arguments. You don't really know what's happening. There's just a lot of shouting, raised voices. You're laid in bed a little bit, and there's things being slammed around, and then doors slam, and then the car revs and goes off, and your mum's crying in the kitchen, sort of thing. I didn't know at the time, but obviously they were going through a breakup. You're just confused because your mum's crying. Yeah. And when as a kid, you're like, that's your world. So why are you crying? Then you cry, but you don't know why you're crying. Yeah. That sort of thing. Your mum's crying, so I'm crying. Mum's happy, I'm happy. Yeah. Or mum and dad's happy. But yeah, it was a difficult time. My dad was always either in two places, so he used to be a lorry driver, which suited his lifestyle because you have to get up at like 4 or 5, and he delivered concrete and gravel, tarmac. So he'd go out and he'd do his runs from 5 till 11, and then he'd park the bus up because that's because we're on this bus. The lorry up, and he'd go to the pub, and then he'd spend the rest of the day until I was in bed at the pub. And so much so that I've got a half brother as well, and I thought until recently when we started sharing these experiences, it was just me. If I needed to find my dad, we'd go from pub to pub and find him that way. And then when we got a bit older and we could use the phone, we'd ring the phones and ask if he was there. And so it was difficult because my dad wasn't around much. Even before my mum and dad broke up, he was around even less then. But obviously, being together. But again, it's what you know. So looking back,
it was normal to you.
It was normal at the time. I've had to pay for it since.
Yeah. In what way?
Well, when I had my son, so Zach, I just didn't know how the whole father-son at that age relationship worked, which was difficult.
But
Really
I suppose
difficult.
that your dad gave you a roadmap of how not to do it.
Oh yeah, listen, I've got a good relationship with my dad now, really good. From being probably about 12, I've got a really good relationship with my dad, and we have had a lot of hearts to hearts. And actually, I was out for his 70th the other day, celebrating, and we were walking down to the pub, and I told him exactly that, and he was quite cool with that. I said, look, you've just given me a cheat code, basically. Now I know exactly what not to do, and he was like, yeah, I know. So he's cool with it. And he's reflected back and probably matured much later in life. He knows that's the case.
But again, it's one of the things where growing up for him, and you put yourself in his shoes, like how bad his world must have been for everything to be going on, trying to make ends meet, panicking, and just like that complete chaos. And his way of dealing with it, like most people, I mean, Mike spoke about this before, like it's either sex, drugs, alcohol, or something to sort of suppress it down.
Or all of them for my dad, probably.
Yes, yeah. But it's one of the things where it's not great for you as a kid, but at the time you don't realise, again, because mental health wasn't a thing back in his day. Like, I'm sure it wasn't just him, there's loads of people doing it back then as well.
Oh, my dad's one of 7, and he's the youngest one of 7. So he never had. He probably himself didn't have his parents around a great deal because, well, he's told me he was brought up by his older sisters a lot. So you only know, again, it's the theme now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You only know what you know.
Yeah.
So you know, ducks follow ducks.
So how did you then build that relationship back up again? Because there's a lot of people that were listening to this that potentially don't have good relationships with their parents, but maybe do want to have that relationship with their parents. So how have you actually gone about building that? Because that's a big thing for people. Like, some people are very stubborn.
Yeah.
Like, no, my mum did this, my dad did that, they're a fucking wanker, don't want to fucking talk to them. But deep down, they really do. They want to build those bridges. They're really, really stubborn. So how did you go about building that bridge again?
I think we've got to point out here, my dad was never horrible to me. He was just absent. So I think there's two different things.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I have never doubted that he loves me, ever. So, but those two things. So, how did I go about it? I think I remember once going down and saying to my mum, right, I want to see my dad. And she was like, well, I don't think he wants to see you. He's not really made contact. And I was only about 10, I think. I was like, no, I want to see him. I want to see him. So I remember she got a receipt out of her purse, and she wrote her the address down. And it was literally down the bottom of the town where I lived. And I went down, found it. It was above an old, remember the video rental shops? But like the local blockbusters.
So it wasn't the official blockbusters, like the locally one.
Yeah, the local one with the like plastic covers and all that sort of stuff. You sort of like maybe I got Back to the Future that had been rented out 15 times and
discs.
Yeah, it just kept spinning and all sorts. Anyway, so it was like that. And I walked up, and it was one of those with flats with like you have a communal living area, so you've got all the main doors off, and then you all share a kitchen.
Yeah.
I remember I knocked on every single door, and I got to the last door, and my dad answered, and I just remember him looking down at me like, "All right, okay," and I knew then. I thought, yeah, you're not comfortable with the choices you've made. I didn't think that in my head. I just caught the look.
You could see, yeah.
And from there, you know, I said, okay, why have you not been to see me and whatnot? We had as much as you can as a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
He said, right, I'll come up on a Sunday then, and I'll come up between 9 and 12. But then, you know, invariably, he was out drinking Saturday night, so 9 would become 10, half 10, 11. And I remember I stood at the back door, and I just, in my head, I thought, right, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going because I want my dad in my life. And I should stand at that door, whether from 9 o'clock until when he turned up, half 10, 11, 11:15. My mum would be like, I don't think he's coming. And I'd be like, well, is it 12 o'clock yet? And she's like, no, so I stay in here then. And I used to stay there. I don't know. At the time, I didn't know why, but obviously I knew. I thought to myself, you know, I'm not going to be the one that goes, you know, if it's going to completely break down, I'm going to be the one that's going to be able to stand there and say it wasn't because of me. And eventually, you know, he became more consistent. So he knew that I was always going to be there, so he'd turn up more. And then eventually, over time, he'd turn up at 9 o'clock regularly and and then eventually that led to, okay, why don't you come and stop at the weekend, Saturday and Sunday? He still went out Saturday nights, but then we had Saturday day together and stuff like that. And then as I got more mature and I was spending more time down there into my teens, we had heart to heart, and we just said, right, this is the things I'm not happy with that you've done. And he sort of like didn't defend it and was like, yeah, I know. And we just put all the cards on the table, I suppose, and sort of just cleaned house, so to speak.
I think that's such an important thing there. There's a few things you said that I want to unpick. The
Yeah.
first thing is the art of communication.
Yeah.
Like the fact of, to actually have that awkward conversation.
Yeah.
Because it would have been awkward for him,
Yeah.
And it'd have been awkward for you.
Yeah.
But actually, as soon as you clear the air, you
Yeah.
both know where you stand.
Yeah.
And again, he was then, to be fair, like I said, I don't know the bloke, but fair
Yeah.
fucking play. The
Yeah.
fact he held his hands up was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So again, I think it's one of the biggest things. When people fuck up,
Yeah.
those ones try and defend themselves and get
Yeah.
on the defensive. If you fucked up,
Yeah.
just accept that you fucked up,
Yeah.
take it on the chin,
Yeah.
learn from it, apologise, and move on, which is exactly what
Yes.
your dad did, which is absolutely perfect there. And also, key thing here about if you want something bad enough. So
Yeah.
people here listen to podcasts, they'll say they want
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But how much effort are you actually putting in to
Yeah.
getting what you actually want? So
Mhm.
right there as a kid,
Yeah.
you've made a decision there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
So people listening, if you actually want something in your life, are you actually trying? And can your hand on your heart actually say that you've done enough? Because as a kid there, you knew there's a very good chance your dad wasn't going to show up.
No.
But, well, I'm going to play my part in this.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay there.
Yeah.
But too many people would have given up. 9:30, oh, he's not coming.
Yeah.
10 o'clock, oh, he's not coming. But you're like, no, I'm staying here till 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
I've made a promise and I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
But you were committed to that. I think a lot of people nowadays are too
Yeah.
soft and say they want something, but they
Yeah.
don't really want it. They kind of like the idea of it. They
Yeah.
like the idea of waiting for their dad, but I'll wait inside. No, motherfucker. Like, if you're going to make a commitment to it, like you did then, but then what
Yeah.
happens?
Yeah.
Like, word gets out, your mum,
Yeah.
he was fucking waiting for you, you dickhead. You
Yeah.
what? He literally was outside
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
He's then going to feel bad. It then shows that you actually give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then it breaks it down and slowly again, the trust gets built up. I think a lot of people, like I said, is very, very stubborn with things.
Yeah.
And they don't want to commit to something.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to unpick what you said there, because I'm glad you said that story, because when we spoke about that, you told me that before.
Yeah.
That is key, and I couldn't believe you actually stood and waited for him. That is incredible. That's an amazing, because people just don't do that nowadays.
No.
They just don't.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things, again, with potentially the younger generation. They want things instantly, and they're not willing to put the effort in. Again, we'll get talking about it in a second. So then your upbringing, what then made you the person you are today? Because to go from this, I know it's a massive gap there, but
Yeah.
to be growing up from that, where again you potentially got this unperfect home on paper, bad environment, statistically, statistically, that's what I want to get into with this.
Yeah.
It's the stats.
Yeah.
And then everything odds against you,
Yeah.
statistically.
Yeah.
How have you then made your life what it is today? Because there'll be people that are in the situation that you're in now,
Yeah.
and thinking, how the fuck do I get out of this situation?
I've made loads of mistakes.
Talk to me. Talk to me. Because people are afraid of making
Yeah.
mistakes.
Well,
People are going to be
yeah.
stuck in the position that you're in right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a parent listening to this,
Yeah.
and they're in the same position that your mum was in, and I
Yeah.
think there's no hope.
Okay, well let's so number one, you know, I know we're talking about my dad. My dad is not a bad guy at all. He's lovely. Yeah, and we've got, you know,
Yeah.
he fills a room up.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
just
there's
think-
nothing against anyone.
Yeah,
No,
I
no.
just think it. No, I don't think there is.
Yeah.
I just want to say it. I think I think he was guilty of thinking he could be something he couldn't be at too young an age.
Yeah.
Whether that age is 35, 40, or whatever, that's what he was guilty of.
Yeah.
You talk to anyone, and if you don't expect what he can't give you, and just expect what he can, he's like 110%.
Yeah.
And I think me growing and him growing and everyone else around him realised that. But to go back to your question, I have my mum. And my mum's my superhero. So my mum's she's like lead character in every film ever. She's just fantastic. Like I said earlier, you know, when we didn't have any money, I never knew about it. She'd think of creative things for us to do, like a picnic down the woods. It's like we used to live near some woods. It's only a 20-minute walk. It's like a day out.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, like an adventure. And we'd go off the beaten track and we'd find somewhere quiet and we'd have a picnic. Then we'd come back. Then the next day we'd like go out on a bike. Nothing cost money, but I didn't care. And then I also had my mum, and she taught me little things like, you know, if you can come home from school or work, but school at the time, and look yourself in the mirror and say you tried your hardest, then that's good enough for me. But don't look yourself in the mirror and say you tried your hardest when you didn't, because then you're only lying to yourself. Now that, I understood that as a 12-year-old, but actually that's really deep.
Yes.
Because you are lying to yourself because it's a reflection in the mirror.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
hang on a minute, that's brilliant. And she'd have all these little things, these little sayings, you know, try your hardest, that's all, you know, be kind. Well, you know, that's like really popular now. But she was always like, be kind to people. Because on the way up, they'll help you and they'll support you on the way back down. Because at some point, everyone comes down a bit.
Yeah.
Whether you come right down or you come down, you're going to come down. So be kind. And she used to have all these sayings. And I used to be like, oh, okay, brilliant. And then what she used to do is talk loud and proud to me about me in front of me to everyone else, not directly to me. So she'd say things like, oh, you could be Prime Minister if you wanted to be. Now, whether or not she believed that, it didn't matter to me. I never wanted to be Prime Minister. But what I used to get quite embarrassed. But actually, what was going off underneath was, fucking hell, my mum thinks I can be Prime Minister. I can do whatever I want then. You know, I can do whatever I want. If my mum believes it, if she believes in me, I can go out and do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And so I did. And so I just went out and I just did stuff. And, you know, I thought, all right, I want to be a landscape gardener. So I did that for 6 months, hated it. Oh, I want to be a financial advisor. So I'm a qualified financial advisor. Did that for 6 months, hated it. You know, wanted to work in a bank, did that, hated it. You know, I just experienced all these things because the initial catalyst was my mum believed in me. And she always used to say, don't let anyone tell you can't do something. So I just went out and did all these things and then eventually landed in education. And then also, you know, made a lot of other mistakes along the way, got involved in the wrong lifestyle with the wrong crowd, you know, coming out of clubs at like 12 in the morning, the afternoon the next day, 2 nights running and stuff like that, which I would imagine a lot of teenage kids still do, but it's not the way to build a healthy future. You know, you got to get out of it quick. But yeah, so there's a lot of things going off.
But I think that, like I said there, when you're stuck with, and there's not much hope in a small town and stuff, and the only thing to do is go out with your mates and have a bit of fun. That's a bit of fun, isn't it, really? It's like, no harm done. You can't see the big picture. I think we've all, in our 20s, done some stuff where a bit like...
Oh, yeah, and I'm not going to preach. I'm not going to preach and say, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, because I think that's part of growing up.
Yeah, agreed.
You know?
I said it's part of growing up. I think some people take it to the extremes nowadays with the social media and the pressure of social media about when they're doing it. Yeah. They're doing it at the expense of extreme credit cards, to live this champagne lifestyle and this Budweiser budget and all this sort of craziness. You're thinking, you don't need all that sort of stuff. Yeah. One of the key things that your mum taught you, by the way, what an amazing woman. Like those life lessons. Like, first of all, the golden rule of any religion is treat others how you want to be treated. Yeah. And again, the fact that she hammered that into you straight away couldn't be more wrong. So again, people listen to that. That's key. So pass your own tests. Yeah. When no one's watching. Yeah. That's one of the key things for success for me. Yeah. Is it's all well and good saying you've done stuff on social media. Yeah. It's all well and good saying right now I've done this, I've done that. But when you go home and no one's watching, are you passing your own tests? Yeah. Are you actually doing the stuff that you've actually got to do, that you've set out to do? Yeah. Because you can say you have, but if you know that you haven't, you're only lying to yourself. And that's an important thing, because too many people say they've done stuff, say they're doing this, say they're doing that, but they're lying to themselves. And this is what I say to people. I think for me, fundamentally, the reason why so many people struggle in life is because they have such a shit relationship with themselves. Yeah. And the reason why they have such a shit relationship with themselves is because they keep lying to themselves. It's like I say to you, if I say, right, I'm going to meet you at the airport tomorrow, I'm going to give you £1 million to take on your favourite destination. Yeah. Tomorrow, I don't show up. No, tomorrow. Next day. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah. And I then turn around to you, and you go, by the way, at this point, you think I'm an absolute fucking arsehole. So I've lied to you constantly. You think, this guy's a fucking dickhead. He keeps telling me, he keeps lying to me. Yeah. And I turn around to you and say, Jody, you got 50k I can borrow. Yeah. You're going to be like, are you fucking joking me? Yeah. You fucking lying piece of shit. Why the fuck would I want to help you out? But that's what people are doing inside their heads all the time. Yeah. I'll start this diet. I'll save this money. I'll do this. I'll do that. Yeah. They're lying to themselves. And then when they actually want to do something... Yeah. The subconscious is like, you lying sack of fucking shit. Why the fuck would I want to help you out? You fucking saying you can do this for us, you were doing that, you haven't. Yeah. I think that's fundamental things there. So the fact your mum at such an early age drilled that into you, that's absolute gold. Because I've only just managed to figure this shit out when I turned 28. I'm like, your mum was teaching just when you were a kid.
Yeah. No, she's not a natural academic at all. And I remember I'd sit with my own work and struggle. Like, I used to struggle. I'm not a natural academic. But 2 other things she taught me. What she always said, even before The Rock Johnson decided it was, the good saying, she always used to say, be the hardest worker in the room. So work out who works hard, and then work harder than him. Yep. And the other thing she used to say, because she's not a natural academic, so she couldn't help me with, a lot of my own work. But she would come to the door. I'd go, I can't do this. Slam the book down. I went through it all. Pen at the wall and stuff. And she used to come in dead calm and go, I know you can do it. Just give it 10 more minutes and think about it. And if after 10 more minutes, but really think about it, and if after 10 more minutes you still can't do it, that's fine. And you know what? 90% of the time, that 10 more minutes, I figured it out. And she I don't think she knew what she was doing.
But this
she did.
This is the thing. Just because you're not academic, and again, statistic-wise, not smart, you've got people that are a lot fucking smarter than her, that don't know half the fucking shit that she just said. And all the books that I've read, all stuff that I'm learning, she's taught you two of the most fundamentally key things that every successful person talks about, but on paper she's not academic. Or she's stupid. No. You've got people that run in the fucking country that don't know the fucking shit your mum just taught you. I mean, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, that is gold. Yeah. Mate, that's incredible. This is the same thing when we spoke on Zoom, and I was just like, and you were talking about your story, I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So when it then came to you becoming a teacher, after
Yes.
you've made all these decisions in life, which again,
Yeah.
I've done the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I
Yeah.
want to do this, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Why teacher? Why did you want to get into academia if you weren't necessarily academic growing up and it wasn't really an environment you specifically enjoyed?
Help people. That's why. But so I didn't have the best. I had good teachers, but they never really engaged me in the right way. So I thought I can give students a better teaching experience and have more of an impact on them than what I had, is essentially why I went into it. And so, so I knew there, teaching, you've got in a college as well, you've got 25 to 30 students per group. You've probably got 8 groups, a week maximum. So what's that? 246 kids.
You're asking one
240 kids. 240 kids a year. So I was impacting up to 240 people a year positively and getting them qualifications which they could then use to go out and have like a good life, or at least get them the key to get through the gate, then to have a good life. Because I don't think qualifications are the be all and end all.
No,
I think they're the keys to the gate for a lot of things.
Yep.
But I think once you're through that gate, it's down to you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's why I got into teaching, was to help people really.
And were you instilling the same sort of values that your mum taught you into these kids? Or had you found your own sort of path then? Because again, like we said there, that's the point I was going to get at.
Yeah.
The fact of, it is about the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
It is about like how hard you work. It's like me when I was playing football. It's bizarre. Literally talking to a gentleman about this the other day, about me when I was at university.
Mm-hmm.
So the first year I was at university, my football team wasn't very good. We were pretty fucking shit, really. Like, the manager wasn't great. Then that manager got replaced by another manager. And he essentially came in and was like, you guys are shit. But he's like, I'm going to run you into the ground.
Yeah.
You will not be outworked.
Yeah.
And you are going to play the toughest teams in the country, because that's where I want to get this program to.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you now, you will not be outworked. So he took the same bunch of players.
Yeah.
We ended up being nationally ranked that year.
Yeah.
Because we were not outworked. These teams were better than us. They had a bigger budget, had better players. They were more skillful than us.
Yeah.
But we literally, I was a goalkeeper, so I wasn't. I still did the running, but like the outfield players, they worked, and they were not like, it got to like 80 minutes, 90 minutes. The other team was flagging. We were literally fresh as daisies.
Yeah.
And he used to run us into the ground. So I think that's one of the most important things again that your mum taught you there is just work fucking hard. Like, you may not be naturally the best at something, but if you fucking work hard. Yeah, like you literally, as Mum said, can achieve whatever you wanted to. Sorry, a bit of a tangent there, but that's what we wanted to talk about
Sounds
before.
a bit like Last Chance You off Netflix. your experience there.
Coach Carter went to the baseline. So what was it you were actually teaching then?
Maths. I know,
And that was your maths, trying to figure out how many kids you were.
But this is the thing. I'm not naturally gifted at maths. It doesn't come easy to me. But because it doesn't come easy to me, it made me a great teacher. Because I basically had to break everything down, which is what a student needs. So every time I was planning a lesson, I'd be like, I don't really grasp that, so I need to get to understand it. And then I'd work backwards and go, right, so if I've just done it that way, they're going to make the same mistakes. So how do I get it across to them so they understand it? So there was all that, and I've had some naturally gifted maths teachers who I've been the manager of, who are just naturally gifted at maths, who can't teach the subject. And then I've had some people who've just literally walked in off the street who have got a passion for numbers. They like doing the budgeting and stuff like that, And they've been some of the best maths teachers because they can engage the students at the right level. So, for me, it was about engaging the students and a lot of them at colleges have had a bad experience at school, so they come with a perceived failure. So that's right up my street from what my life experience was. I was like, okay, so a lot of them go, first lesson, why am I'm crap at maths? I'm always going to fail maths. I said, right, okay, so what course are you on? Plumbing. So, how'd you get better at plumbing? Well, I'll just try, and I'll listen and I'll learn. I say, okay, so what's your experience of plumbing? 0. I say, so I'll agree that you will improve quicker because you've got 0 start point. So you're telling me you can't get any better at maths by just doing those things that you said you were going to do in plumbing, and then they go, well, no. I say, so what you mean is it don't go like that. It don't go up like stellar straight away because you're already there. So we've got to find the things that you're not quite grasping and refine it. So your curve will be smaller or less of a gradient, but you can improve. Yeah, all right, let's work on that then. Let's start from there. And then also, I insanely believe everyone's got greatness in them. Everyone's got the ability. I wouldn't say to do whatever they want, because I think that's a throwaway comment, but they can achieve great things. But a lot of the young generation, they don't believe it. And so that gave me that forum to be able to work with them on that level.
There's two things. First and foremost,
Yeah.
I wish I had you in maths. Because when I went to America,
Yeah.
The American system works differently to the British system. I had to retake maths every single semester I was there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't graduate until I passed it. And I failed every time apart from the last semester and I passed it. So I wish
Beating you with that stick.
I literally wish you'd been my maths teacher because I needed that just to be told, like, well, actually, if you actually try, because I had the same defeatist attitude. So why do you think nowadays then, I completely agree with you, everyone has greatness in them, and it is a throwaway comment, you can do whatever you want to be. Well, no, motherfucker, if you're 3 foot nothing, you're not going to be able to dunk a ball like LeBron James.
Yeah.
You can't. So no matter how much you want to, it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
But I fully believe that people do have greatness in them. So why do you think that?
That is a good question. I think just naturally, I always see the best in people. It's caught me out a lot of times, but I just naturally just give people the benefit of the doubt anyway, and just they're a good person until they're not to me.
That's a great trait. It's a great mate. I've had the same. You get stung with it.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to change it.
Why do I think everyone has greatness within them. I think we try and define greatness. That's what so when you say greatness, naturally, because of social media and films or whatever, books, you think, right, CEO of a company, or live in a palace, or drive a Lamborghini. But what is actually greatness or success?
Yeah,
it's what that person defines it as. But I think going back to what we said earlier, I think particularly young adults, I like to call them, young adults, have got this fear of failure. So they'll never achieve any success because they're too scared to try.
Yeah.
And it's not until the weight of what they'll achieve will outweigh the fear that they'll actually do anything to do it.
And failure is the thing they need to actually help them grow and develop in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of them, like you said with your mum. Your mum gave that safe space.
Yeah.
It's like, you can go do whatever you need to do. If you fail, I'm going to be right here. But I think a lot of people don't necessarily have that nowadays.
We celebrate the end product too much. We don't celebrate the journey enough. And that's the beauty, that's the synergy with maths. And that's where a lot of maths teachers go wrong. They concentrate on the answer. Did you get the answer right for the mean of that set of numbers? No. Move on. Now, hang on a minute. Let's look at the process. So actually, you knew you had to add all the numbers up, and you added all the numbers up, and you got the right total, but then you divided by the wrong number because you miscounted there was 11, and you divided by 10. So actually, you got 80% of the journey right, but it ended up with the wrong answer. And it's that subtlety, and that's life. That's life.
You're making me like maths here.
Well, that's life, isn't it? You could end
cannot argue.
Miles away from where you want to be, and you could beat yourself up about it. Or you could actually reflect back, because that's another thing we don't do, is reflect, and go, actually, I did 8 out of the 10 things right. It was those 2 things where I was wrong, so I'm going to go back, fix those 2 things, and I'm going to get nearer next time.
But then even in life, those 2 things that you got wrong might not have even been your fault.
No.
And you may not have been able to impact them. So you didn't get the right outcome, but you've done everything that you could. So out of your 80%, you did 100% of that 80% correct.
Yeah.
The other 20% had nothing to do with it. It was coronavirus.
Yeah.
It was the mines closing.
Yeah.
It was the steel industry collapsing.
Yeah.
That 20% had nothing to do with you, but you did your 80% to your 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, the outcome's a failure, but then as you said, most people fail.
Yeah.
And then you feel like a piece of shit, when actually, no. You did your 80% to 100%.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Mate, you are fucking... mate. And by the way, complete transparency here, I stole your analogy. Do you know the one you said to me about the desert island?
The depression.
Yeah, depression and mental health.
Yeah.
So anyone's heard me talk about the desert island and mental health, it was you that I stole it from. So
I love a good analogy.
It's fucking brilliant. And yours is so much better than mine when it came to desert islands. We'll get to that in a second. I love episodes like this where it's like, it's completely off the cuff. I sent this to my kids, like, I knew it was going to be on this episode, but I love it because you get the best out of people, rather than being completely scripted. It's like we're going completely off cuff. It's not even what I want to talk to you necessarily about yet, but you've hit the nail on the head with so many things here with that. So when it comes to these kids then, and we're trying to work on this end process, and they don't believe in themselves, how do you then get them to believe in themselves, and how do you get them to actually start believing in the journey? Because you've hit the nail on the head there with the maths example, nail on the head.
Yeah.
But real world application, how do we get kids to actually start to reflect on this stuff and understand that the journey is the most important thing?
For me, 2 things. I think that they are completely flooded with Instagram, Snapchat, what's the other newish one called?
TikTok. How do you not know?
I know.
You're not
just
you're
terrible,
not cool.
mate. I'm
You're not
terrible.
cool.
I'm awful. Facebook. You know, news, magazines, whatever it is. Twitter, celebrating the end point. That this person's had all this massive success. You've got these influencers, and you've got these people that, for all intents and purposes, look like I'll be honest, don't look like they do a day's work in their life, but they earn loads of money.
Yep.
I'd like to know how that works. The other end of it, you've got motivational speakers saying, get 3 hours sleep a night, work hard, power through, hit the wall. I will work harder than you. You will never outwork me. Well, science, sorry for everyone listening, has proven that if you do that over a sustained period, you will have a breakdown. And you will not be able to do anything for months. So that's completely wrong. It works if you need to do it for a short period of time, agreed. Yeah. And you need to power through. But a very short period of time, it will only work. And then you still need to recover. Yeah. So there's that. And what was the question again?
How do we get kids to appreciate the journey and understand it's not about the outcome?
And then don't compare, and this is not my saying, but I've read it somewhere, don't compare somebody else's chapter 20 to your chapter 1. Yeah. And they do that a hell of a lot.
Yes.
So they'll say, well, you're where I want to be, and so therefore I failed already. Yeah. So we unpick all that, and we look at, okay, so where are you? Where are you now? That's a big question in itself. They'll still say, oh, I'm at college, or I'm at school. No, where are you? Where are you? Like in life, right now, where are you? And where do you want to be? And we spend time, and we create space. And me and Chrissy were just talking about this, is in education, particularly educational settings, they do a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong, they do. They really do a fantastic job. But they're that tied up with delivering the curriculum they've got to deliver. These young kids and young adults, they've got no space to express. So that's what I do. Is I create the space. So let's talk about where you're at. Where are you at? Let's all have a chat about where you're at right now. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? And then let's talk about what's stopping you getting there. So we unpick it. It's not like anything groundbreaking, but I just think that this space is disappearing for people to be able to talk openly, which is one of the things I think I agreed to do this for, because it's not often I get space to express myself, and this is a great forum and a great platform. If you talk to young people, they know what they want. They know what they want, and they know where they're at. It's the bit in between that they need help with. They don't necessarily know how they're going to get there, but that's where we can come in as adults, and help them with our experiences of, well, yeah, I've done that, but I wanted to do something similar, or I failed massively at that. A bit like my dad gave me the cheat code. We've got the cheat codes. Yep. So I think as a society, and I've probably gone off on a massive tangent.
No, I love it.
As adults, we don't want to be sectioning off young adults or young people. We actually need to be going in and mixing with them and showing ourselves as positive role models, and actually saying to them, because they think we've got it all figured out. I wake up some mornings, I ain't got a clue how to get dressed. And so I think we've got to go in there, create that space, and show them, actually, no, we're the same as you, we're just older, and we've been through more stuff, and we've made more mistakes, and because of those mistakes we've learned. And that's the only way you're going to learn. But tell you what, I can make you make less mistakes, but you're still going to make them. Yeah. So let's have a look at what you need to do. And
that's another thing on social media, where people don't post their failures and think that they're always happy all the time. Fuck off, you dickhead. You're not happy all the time. Like how much money you've got, don't care where you're living. Some days you're going to wake up and you're going to feel shit for no reason, and it's okay.
I had someone come up to me the other month saying, oh, you always look like you're having a fantastic time on holiday. Why do my holidays never go like my family holidays? I went, mate, right, listen, right, you've seen 30 photos of a 2-week holiday that took me about 30 seconds to take. I said, the rest of the time, I was dragging kids by the foot out of the pool. My wife was asking me to get a drink. We were falling out about how long it was taking her to get ready. She was falling out with me because I'd had too much to drink too early on. We couldn't find somewhere to eat. There was nowhere to sit down. The kids got sunburn. But all you see is the 30 seconds everyone's smiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we judge ourselves against it.
100%.
That's not a healthy place to be.
It's not. I want to loop back to what we're talking about the kids. No, because it was a really key point. Like I said, I told you this. All you got to do is just talk. That's the fact this is your first podcast. You just talk. My job is to rein us back in and keep us on some sort. You keep going off on tangents. I'll keep us on some sort of track. So when it comes to kids and what's stopping them, so you're completely correct. So when I went into the school, I think I definitely spoke with Mike about this. Yeah. The teacher was shocked. I had the deputy head that was in this class with me, and I was talking to these kids. And at the end of it, he said, I didn't know that these kids actually knew what they wanted. It's kind of what you said, because
Yeah.
the curriculum's not set up to ask them.
No.
And I directly said the exact same thing as you.
Yeah.
Right, where are you at now? Where do you want to be?
Yeah.
They had the answer. And they said, right, let's start unpicking this and what's actually stopping you.
Yeah.
What do you think is the thing that's stopping most of these kids? Why do you think they've got this blockage that's stopping them? Because they know where they're at, they know they want to get to. Why do they have this blockage, in your experience? Because you've got a lot more experience than me. Why do you think the kids have got this blockage?
I think it's self-belief, is my opinion. But there's two things with self-belief. They've either got none, or they've got an overblown sense of themselves. So they either think they can't do anything at all, so they're not going to try because they don't want to fail, because they always feel shitty about themselves, so they're not going to carry on, so they're not going to try at all. Or they're really arrogant and they think, I'm going to do it because my brother did it, or my sister did it, or my dad did it, and it just came easy to them, so I'm just going to do it. So it's like there's no middle ground. They don't seem to grasp that you need to have a solid sense of yourself, and where, understanding where you want to go is great, and understanding where you are is great, but then you need to have the self-belief to take you from one place to another, and a lot of them haven't got self-belief. But when I say I haven't got it, I don't mean they're lacking it. Some of them have got it too much. I think, do you see what I'm saying? We always, when we talk about self-belief, I think we always talk about a lack of, but I think having too much is also an hindrance, especially at an early age. Like, I'm really self-confident. I've got loads of self-belief, but I'm mature with it. I know.
Do you think a lot of them pin their hopes too much? I'm going to be the next YouTube sensation, and it's almost a certainty. And then when it doesn't happen, comes crashing down, they don't know how to deal with it.
I'm just going to do it. Like that sort of attitude.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it because I can talk to people. All right then. So how are you going to go about it? They've got no idea, but they believe it, which is great. It's powerful because I honestly believe as well. Sometimes you can overthink things. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, but they're too almost egotistical with it.
Yeah.
I think definitely the lack of is the main pool, but there is this like other side of it where they're the other end of the spectrum, and they just need to come back a little bit.
So let's talk about this Power 5 then, because this links nicely into this. The Power 5 is your company.
Yes.
Talk to me about that, and then I want to go over the 5 points, because the first one is self-belief. So I want to go back into self-belief, but before we go into self-belief again, talk to me about Power 5. So what is it?
Yeah.
And why have you set it up?
So my company is actually Eos Leadership.
Okay, yeah.
So Power 5 is a program that
cool.
I deliver under that banner. So Power 5 is a program for young people, aimed at young people between the ages of 11 and 20. Now, the reason I chose that as an age group is because I'm a big believer in transitions. I think being able to that there's a lot of key transitions between that age. You're coming out of school into high school at 10, 11. Then you're picking your GCSEs. Then you're going for your GCSEs, then you're potentially doing A-levels, then or an apprenticeship, then you're going to college, or you're going to university, and then you're coming out of university into adult life and into work. So I think there's a lot of key transitions.
And don't forget puberty that's coming on through that.
Yeah.
There's a massive change of physical appearance, like body going through it, especially for female. Some crazy shit going on. You ain't got a fucking clue what's going on. So you've got that side of stuff, but also physical, and within yourself as a person, you're completely fucking changing throughout that time period as well.
And you're forming an identity as well, massively at that age. Probably several, actually. You probably try 2 or 3 different coats on between those 2 ages.
Yes.
So Power 5 is a self-leadership course. So throughout that stage, you need really strong self-leadership, because it's like guiding a boat through rocky waters, isn't it? You've got to avoid the big rocks. You're going to hit some, but if you avoid the big ones, you're not going to have a catastrophe. So Power 5 self-leadership, it concentrates on 5 modules, which I'll never be able to remember.
I've got to remember down here for you.
So you got self-belief,
motivation,
habits,
setbacks,
perseverance, and then within those 5 modules, there's 15 sessions, and the sessions are all underpinned by one-to-one coaching. So we've talked about creating a space for groups to talk. The coaching's in there so that if you were one of the delegates or one of the students, me and you would have a 45-minute coaching session that closes out each module. So if we'd done a module on habits, we'd look at setting goals around your habits, opportunities, what you can, opportunities around habits, what opportunities to form good habits have you got, what's the reality at the minute, and then what are you going to do? What are you going to do now moving forward?
I think that's one of the key things here, because most people, adults, that come to see me, can't self-lead. So if you can teach it at that young age, when life is going crazy, that's one of the key things with this. Like again, I love to use the boat analogy. I use boat analogies all the time. Basically, essentially what you're a lighthouse.
Yeah.
You're trying to basically show the kids, like, the rock's there. You're going to hit some little ones, but as long as you hit the big ones, like, they've got to self-propel themselves. They've got to move themselves forward. But you're just teaching them. Next time you come through similar rocky waters like this, you kind of know roughly what to do.
Yeah.
You know what's happening if you do hit a little rock.
Yeah.
If you do hit a big rock, here's a bounce back. Here's a patch up the boat, and you keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And that's one of the biggest things I find with adults that are struggling now. Again, between our sort of age groups, and again, maybe a little bit older than yourself as well, maybe slightly younger than me, that sort of generation.
Yeah.
Is they don't have any way to lead themselves.
No.
They're completely lost.
Yeah.
And they're looking for external things and people to help them when all they need is themselves. They don't have, again, going back to the point one, self-belief. They don't have the self-belief, the self-confidence to actually be like, I've got this.
Yeah.
I've always had this.
Yeah.
Because I've always been with myself.
Yeah, the one person that you spend all your time with, you.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to get people to realise. Like, you have what you, you say, you have what you need to succeed.
Yeah.
Stop looking for external things for validation, for approval. You've got it.
Yeah.
Make a decision. Which
is what I realised with my depression. So I suffered. I don't like using suffered. I have and had depression. And it took me a while to realise there's all these external agencies, but they'll just stay there unless you do something. It's you. You've got to do it. You've got to access them. You've got to make that journey and talk to that person and be open with them, whatever it is. And it's the same with self-leadership. You've got all the skills. You just need some guidance, and then you've got to access them yourself.
Let's quickly loop back to depression before we go into the really going into Power 5.
Yeah.
Looking back at it now, what led you down that path of depression? Because obviously Mikey suffered with it, I've suffered with it. We spoke to an ex-pro footballer recently about this. Yeah. What's your story with depression?
We started off with it at the beginning. When Zach was born, I didn't have any idea of how to be a dad to a young boy. I'd already had Chloe, bearing in mind, so Chloe's 6. So but I knew what a male-female relationship was because I'd always had my mum. She was always around.
Fascinating, yes, yeah.
She's always there.
Yes.
So when Chloe came, I knew exactly what, even though I was the older person, I knew what that relationship was. But when Zach came, I think that's what brought it on, and it was like, right, okay, I'm struggling, and then you do the stereotypical things, you run away from it. So you go down the pub with the lads, or you go out and watch football, or you do something, and then you're not dealing with it, and then and then I think he was vibing off that. So then he was a difficult baby for 12. He wouldn't sleep. It just, every time I had him, he'd scream at me, and then it just, I was doing. When I think about it, I was doing stuff like going to work on a Monday, and I had one of those doors with like the little thin window down.
Yes.
I'd put flip chart paper over the window, lock the door, and just answer my emails. And I thought that was normal. I just thought, you're just having an off day. Now that's like, you see me now, I'm buoyant and like positive. That's like literally hiding away. It was a struggle to wake up and get on the train in the morning. So, but then I realised it when I was sat in my car one day, and I thought, only for like that, the world would be better off without me. And that scared me. It was only like, and I'm really positive, and that shook me. I was like, you're not healthy. You need to go and do something. And from there, after about 12 months, I had the talking therapy, counselling, which worked really well for me. Everyone else who might be going through similar stuff, there's other stuff available. And we just talked about it and what we're doing, and we got to the bottom of why it was, which is you didn't know how to be with Zach, and the reason he's difficult is because he's sensing that in you. So we need to work from that point, and as soon as we did, we're like best mates now. It's amazing, like all from me.
Isn't that amazing?
Sorting it out.
Isn't that amazing when it comes to depression?
Yeah.
Again, turning your back.
Yeah.
What's the root cause of it? Rather than running away from it, most people do. And
Yeah.
again, it's when you're in a dark place.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But all you need is that opportunity. But speaking to the right person again, we talk about speaking to the actual right person or a professional.
Yeah.
And just getting to the root cause of what has caused it, because then that puts you then back in control. You then now know, right, you can do something about this, which then empowers you, rather than oh no, it's this thing over here. Once this thing sorts itself out,
I was just going to say
then
that.
you'll be okay. No.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
You can control this thing. This is on you.
Yeah.
And that's empowering. Because then for a second it's going to be suck. You can be like,
oh no, I had tears and all sorts.
Yeah. It's going to be fucking shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you can then do something about that. You back yourself because you know you. Yeah. You know the kind of person that you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking put big boy pants on.
Yeah.
Let's fucking crack on. Let's do something about that. Fucking love that.
But don't you find, and you just said it there, you sound like you've got coaching experience, same as me. If you're coaching someone through a problem, they'll tell you 3 things before they tell you the actual reality.
At least 3 things.
So there's the 3 excuses, and then normally, then it's the real thing. And the real thing, they will literally just break down or whatever in front of you, and then you know then that's it. We work with this. Whether it's the third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, but there's always excuses, and I've done it myself. I'm just talking from experience.
Yeah. But this is what makes great coaches.
Yeah.
When you've been through it yourself.
Yeah.
And this is my thing now. Again, if anyone wants to know what it's like actually working with me as a coach, I call people out on the bullshit. I make people take responsibility. Stop blaming other people for your life. Stop blaming other people for the fact that you're 50 pounds overweight. It's your fucking fault. You're the one. You may not have understood it. You may not have realised it. But ultimately, you were the one that's putting the food in your mouth. You may not have been doing it consciously. You may have been in survival mode. Okay. But you have done it. Own it. Apologise to yourself. Because that's what you need to do. People, again, I say people aren't broken. They don't need fixing. They need to find themselves, love themselves, and forgive themselves and love themselves. So, okay, you fucked up. Forgive yourself. Start to love yourself and do fucking something about it.
Love it.
But you've got to be blunt with people sometimes. It's a bit like tough love. Sometimes it's a bit that pandering. No, motherfucker. Do something about it. Only you can do it. I can't make you do anything.
Exactly.
I can't make you do anything. Even if you're going to fucking die if you don't do it, I cannot make you do it.
No.
You have to find that something inside you to do it. And that's what I try and get out of the clients. I can't do anything. You have to do it. And then the ones that succeed are the ones that are like, light bulb moment. It's not my fucking parents' fault. It's not that it's my fault. I'm going to do something about it. Yes, my partner may not be supportive. Yes, I may have had a difficult upbringing. And I said this with Mikey on the podcast I do, the one two things ago, about being a victim. You can beat on that victim drum as much as you want. And it's valid. The shit that happened to you may have been fucked up. You may not have deserved it. Completely fucking valid. If you sit there and beat on your victim drum, all you're going to get is other victims helping you beat that drum. You ain't going to succeed in life.
Like attracts like, mate. Definitely.
100%. So, looping back, by the way, thank you for being open about that, the depression stuff. Like I said, I know.
No, I think it's important to talk about it, especially from a male perspective.
100%.
As well.
And this is why, again, people like you, Mikey, again, Stephen Warnock, professional footballer. I don't think it's going to be out yet. So by the time this comes out, spoiler alert, we interviewed a former professional footballer, Stephen Warnock, and he spoke about his depression. That was really good. But again, man to man, it's fantastic, and I love this. Like I said, it's something that needs to be spoken about a hell of a lot more.
I talk about it openly all the time.
And it makes it so much easier. People. It makes it so much easier the more you talk about it. It loses its power on you.
Yeah, and it surprises people because I'm so positive, and because you're so positive, and Mikey is, and other people. When you say it, they go, "No." They go, it doesn't discriminate.
No. But that's the thing, though. But and again, it's like once you start talking about it, it gives other people permission, or just something where they're like, oh, actually, male or female, that, oh yeah, actually, I might have, and then I'll start to ask you about it. Oh, so how did you overcome it? How did you? And it's like, it opens up that floor, which is all it's about, because there's so much stigma still, to this fucking day, stigma behind it. And you think somehow you've got to have had this fucking shit show of a life. It doesn't discriminate. You could literally be born into money. You can have the best job. You can have whatever. You can still suffer with it.
Wiseville. The stigma around it, Wiseville. You've had depression, or you've got depression, so you're broken. No, I'm actually stronger. So
I actually know myself now. And I say to people all the time, depression is the best. I don't know if you feel the same, but depression is the best thing that ever happened to me. Because without it, I wouldn't be living the life that I've got now. I wouldn't have the understanding that I've got now. I'm telling you, like, my life is substantially better since I came the other side of it. Now, I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. No. But since I actually got that awareness of myself, which I didn't have, since I actually looked at the root cause of it, forgave myself, and started to give myself a bit of love, my life has exponentially improved.
I think I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think I would agree with it, because if I look at what the things that I've started to do as a result, I'm much more aware of myself, and I'm happy to sit in different feelings. So I'm really positive. So sadness before my depression was you cannot be sad.
Suppress it down.
You have got to be happy all the time, and you've got to absolutely power through, and then you'll get happy again. But now I've realised, no, acknowledge the sadness and just sit in it like a hot tub for a bit, and just like get comfortable with it. Why am I sad? Why am I sad? This is the thing. How often in a day, that people should try this, how often do you ask other people if they're all right, and then how often do you ask yourself?
And tell yourself the honest answer.
Yeah. So I bet it's like 20, 25 times you'll say to someone, "You all right?" And then you get the stock answer. No one ever goes, "No, I'm shit." Everyone goes, "I'm all right." No, how are you really? Ask again. But how often do you say to yourself, I ask myself a lot, how are you feeling? Why are you feeling like that? Are you tired? Have you not exercised enough? Are you doing too much work? Are you not doing enough work? Are you, aren't you holding yourself accountable enough for stuff? Is that where's the imbalance coming here? Sit in it. It might take a day.
But
it
then
might
you
take
learn.
a week.
Then you learn.
Yeah.
When I'm not exercising,
Yeah.
my mental health starts to go.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start to know yourself better, which again, what we spoke about, you then start to learn yourself. You start to understand, right, actually, by the way, whenever I'm talking to any females, they laugh at me at the fact that I've got a bedtime. And I've started to get ready to go to bed at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I've got to be in bed by 10.
Yeah.
It's got for no other reason that my mental health suffers massively if I stay up late.
Yeah.
I can do it for one night, maybe two.
Yeah.
But if it gets to the third night, fourth night, my mental health, literally like that, crashes hard. And people laugh while I take naps.
Yeah.
Like last night, I had a terrible night's sleep.
Yeah.
Terrible. Took pre-workout too late. I was buzzed off my tits at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So today, this afternoon, I took a nap.
Yeah.
It was about an hour nap. I needed it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to apologise to anyone for doing that. I know I need that for my mental health. But if I didn't know that, then slowly starts to decline because we've not got the awareness.
Yep.
So I love the way you articulate things. It's absolutely fantastic. So let's loop it back to the Power 5.
Yes, sorry.
No. These tangents have been absolutely fantastic. So let's loop back to Power 5. Let's just quickly bash through these. Because again, I'd love people to find out more about you and go to about where they can find out more about you at the end. So talk about self-belief. We spoke about it a little bit, but what is your main thing when you're going in with these kids? So we said there's 2 levels. They've either got too much or not enough. When you're going into these schools, colleges, wherever you're working with them, what's one of the things you do to judge where kids are at? And let's say most of them have got low self-belief. What's one of the things that you do to help them get a bit of self-belief?
I tend to look at statements that become reality if you let them. Ooh. So like statistical statements, and we talk about them. Because I think that's what impacts their self-belief. Because they've got social media, they've got access to news 24/7, things are running, news is on all the time, it's always bad news. They're firing out these statistics. So we look at things like, if you've had depression, you're 2.5 more times likely to have a low-paid job. Do you agree with that? If you're from a single-parent family and a low-income family, then you'll never go to university. Just these massive blanket statements that the government use to pigeonhole people. Yep. Statistics, they're all true, by the way. If you look them up, they're all true. All these statistics are true, but I put them up there, and then because I think they're the things, and there could be loads more. ADHD, autism, whatever. You could keep putting hundreds and hundreds up, but I pick a few, and we put them up there, and we look at do you think these are true or not? And they'll say, no, they'll debate it, they'll argue it, but underneath it, that's what they're judging themselves against. And in the end, I'll reveal that they're all true. But then we'll talk about statistics, which we talked about the mean earlier.
Yes, we did,
so there's a mathematical theme. And we talk about statistics, and what do statistics do? Well, it groups people together. So does that take you as an individual then? No. So are you using these things to sort of
put glass ceiling on yourself?
Yeah, glass ceiling on your life. Yeah, I am. Okay, so what we're going to do? I'm going to start treating myself as an individual, and that's the first step to building self-belief.
So it's like basically you identify where these kids' potential limiting beliefs are
coming from. Yes. Yeah, because they're all coming from somewhere. Are they coming from home? Are they coming from social media? Are they coming from the friendship group? That's another thing. And we do a lot of work around that. One of the hardest things is you're going to have to realise you've got 5 people in your life that you're friends. Everyone else are just hanger-ons. Yep. That people are just there to make them feel better.
100%. And again, as an adult, I think adults need to hear that again. Yeah. Say that one more time for me.
So you have in your life, you'll only ever have 5 true friends. No more. Everyone else are either drinking partners, drinking buddies, social friends, which are fine.
They're fine, yeah.
You all need
they're acquaintances.
Yeah.
They're
needed.
They are needed.
Yeah.
People are shocked when I say I've only got a few close friends.
Yeah.
And again, I generally class Mikey as a really, really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I very rarely let people into my circle.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely.
Yeah.
But if you look at my Instagram, look at my Facebook, thousands.
Yeah.
They're acquaintances.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with
doesn't mean
that. And people shouldn't be offended by it. That's
that doesn't mean I'm not going to help them out.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm going to help them out. Let's say right now, I clash with an acquaintance. Are you a friend? I hardly know you. No. So I'm not going to call you a friend.
Yeah.
But do you know if you say, Dan, do you know what? I need a bit of a favour.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? You've helped me out. Of course I will. But if I've got a dead body to hide, I'm not calling you up. I'll probably call Mike up. He's got a farm I can bury them in.
Yeah.
But that's what it's understanding. If shit really, really hits the fan, if you do have depression, if you do lose your house, if you do lose your job, there'll be 5 people. Most people don't even have 5, by the way.
Maximum. I'm
maximum 5.
About. Yeah.
Most people. I've got 3. I know now. Mikey to fair 4.
Yeah.
That would actually, if I really was at that place, that would actually help me. A lot of people give people too much credit for that, and I'm glad you brought that up, because
Yeah.
a lot of people think they've got these friends. When they try and better themselves, like the crab analogy, they'll try and lose the weight, they'll try and stop drinking.
Yeah.
And these so-called friends, either consciously or subconsciously, are holding them back.
Yes.
Because you're then making them look bad.
Yeah.
Like your drinking buddies, you know that drinking is not good for you.
Yeah.
You know that it's ruining your relationship with your significant other.
Yeah.
You try and stop. Your friends know they should stop. You're making them look bad. You're highlighting to them, you should be stopping drinking.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing it.
Yeah.
They're going to try and, oh, you fucking boring bastard.
Yeah.
Oh, you X, Y, and Z. If they were real friends, they'd be like, good on you.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Yeah.
Would you rather us not meet you at the pub? Would you rather go for a coffee instead?
Yeah.
But how many people would actually do that?
This is
So
it.
glad you said that. That is key.
Yeah.
Gold.
And this is one of the things we look at when we say, where do you want to be? I'll say, right, where do you want to be? I want to be a property developer. Who in your circle's got that skill? Or some knowledge of it? No one. Change your circle. You need someone in your circle. Where are you going to do it?
Yeah.
You know, the other thing we're not good at, this is the other thing, find someone who's doing what you want to do, or doing it better,
And ask.
and say to them,
Yes.
you are doing this
Yes.
better than me.
Yes.
Can you help me?
Yes.
Because they will.
Yes.
But you just don't want to admit that you're inferior. I'll use that because you're not, you know, in that first instance.
But then don't be a fucking dickhead
Yeah.
when they do teach you that.
Yeah.
And fucking shit on that person, because that happens quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's happened to me in my career. Like
Yeah.
I've helped
Yeah.
elevate people. They end up fucking shitting on you.
Yeah.
I'm still going to
Yeah.
help people. That's what I
Yeah.
did with the Prime Life Project. That's literally what I do with my coaches.
Yeah.
Wait, fucking, we're heating up here. Second point, motivation.
So motivation. Now that's a bit of a tricky. Not tricky. The headline's misleading. And I put motivation because I think more people understand the word motivation. But actually, what I talk about is commitment.
Oh,
Because motivation ebbs and flows.
Yep.
That otherwise it doesn't exist as a thing. So some days you're more motivated, some days you're less motivated. You know, it just goes up and down like a wave. There's a nautical theme as well going on here, isn't it? We've got mathematics
boats and
well,
maths.
See, that's where it's at is commitment. So your commitment, and we talk about doing motivation, it's all about building your why. So you know where you want to be. Why? Why do you want to be there? How will that positively impact you as a person and those around you by achieving it? And then we start building a why. What does it look like? So a lot of it, they'll say, oh, I want to run a restaurant. I'm like, okay, what restaurant? Where is it? Are you the head chef? Are you the owner? Have you got a head chef? Let's get specific about what the restaurant is. What food are you going to do? Yeah? I want to work restaurant abroad. Where abroad? Greece. Where in Greece? Let's get specific. So what does it look like? What does it feel like?
Oh, fuck
What does it smell like? And how is it going to positively impact? Because then you're building your why. Then you'll make action towards it. And then you're building your commitment. And then when on the days when you feel shit and you don't want to do it, you might not do it to the level you would on the days you're motivated, but you still do it. Because your why's big, your commitment's big. So that's what that module is.
I'm going to take that even a step lower. A step deeper.
Go on.
What you're then doing with these kids is you're making them visualize.
Yeah.
And again, the brain doesn't know the difference between a thought and reality.
Yeah.
So you're getting these kids to visualize everything.
Yeah.
I've literally listened to this on a podcast on the way here.
Yeah.
When it comes to the literally driving down here for this podcast about the army. And what the army does is when they go in, they've got this thing coming in, this mission.
Yeah.
And on this mission, they basically then right, okay, if the helicopter blows up, what are we going to do? Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Right, if this route is not available, what's the thing? Because they've got backup routes. So though they've not actually experienced this mission before, if something goes wrong in their brain, it's already happened. Like, so they already know what's going on.
Yeah.
Again, you just saw with Michael Phelps when he was swimming, goggles filled up, he'd already visualised it. So what you're getting these kids to do is visualize. What does it smell like? Where are you going to get specific with it? Visualize yourself there, because if you can't visualize it, you're not going to make it reality. Whereas if you're so convinced that you can smell that bakery, you can smell the bread, and you can actually see the fact that actually your brother is the head waiter, and you can see him there in Greece on the side. It's already happened.
Yeah.
It's already happened. And this is getting some deep law of attraction shit, which I fucking love. But people, again, you're not saying this to kids, but that's what you're getting them to do.
Yeah.
If they can close their eyes every single night and actually visualize what's going on, you are telling them this is possible. So when they're going through their life, they know this is where we're going.
Yeah.
This is where it is, so they can start to make the correct choices to lead them there, because they know exactly where they're going. I call it finding your north. Again, using the boat analogy.
Yeah.
You need to know, because life's going to throw you fucking shit.
Yeah.
Life is the sea. There's going to be storms of life. Your boat's going to get knocked off course.
Yeah.
You need to know, no matter what life throws at you,
Yeah.
you can get your compass out. Right,
Yeah.
there's north. Let's go. Crack on.
Yeah.
Fuck, mate.
But they're also embarrassed. The kids are embarrassed to say what they want
Yeah.
because they think people are like, you know, harass them or pick on them or do them down about it.
Yeah.
And I'll say to them, until you speak it out, it doesn't exist.
No.
It's in
Speaking
your
of
head.
resistance, yeah.
You need to speak it out into the world. I need to hear it.
Yeah.
And then you need to hear it being said.
Yeah.
And
And
then
the more
everyone
times
else
you
needs
say
to hear
it,
it.
the more times you
Yeah.
say it, they'll be like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
And then when it happens,
Yeah.
they're like, fucking hell,
Yeah.
you said, God, you said that.
I've had primary school kids shouting affirmations out this week. It's been unbelievable. I told them that the two biggest words you can ever have in the English language are I am. They're the two most important words. And they were like, they're only like 5 or 6. Like, why is that? I went, whatever you say after that,
You are.
You are.
Become.
and we had them creating super shields and all sorts with like, I am brave, I am a fast runner, like kids. And then I had them shout. I said, pick your favourite one, and we're going to shout it. And that's every time you feel like you can't do something, you say this. And I am brave, I am kind. I said, right, and they've remembered it. I did that week 1. It's week 3.
This is this thing though.
Yeah.
I talked about this again before.
Yeah.
You can't serve two masters.
No.
Again, the I am's identity.
Yeah.
What you're doing there is forging a new identity for the kids.
Yeah.
Because again, especially as adults, you've got a thing of I cannot, I'm fat, I'm useless, I'm broke, I'm a loser, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay, and you want to be this person.
Yeah.
You can't serve two masters.
No.
You can't. You can't be both.
No.
Like this old identity,
Yeah.
you have to lose that old identity.
Yeah.
And then what we have to do is, I am fit, I am healthy, I'm successful. Again, I do my affirmations every single day. I can fucking rattle them off to you.
Yeah.
I'm successful, I'm affluent, I'm abundant, I'm financially free,
Yeah.
I'm helping as many people as possible with mentally and physically become the best version of themselves. I'm choosing, I'm enough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's my reality.
Yeah.
That is my
Definitely.
fucking reality. Every single one is my reality. Why is it my reality? Because every single fucking day, every opportunity, I tell myself that. And you get kids to do that, you're getting them to ingrain it into them. I am successful. I am a singer. I am this.
Yeah.
Fuck, I love you. Mate, you're fucking awesome. I'm fucking G'd up here. Like, mate, I'm not sleeping again tonight. Fuck. Mate, that is gold.
Thank you. Well,
Genuinely.
only learned experience, so.
But the fact that you're going into schools and articulating with these kids
Yeah.
and getting them to the thing, again, I completely agree. I am is one of the most
Yeah.
powerful things.
Yeah.
And you look at all this old school text, the Bible, I'm not going to get too fucking deep into the Bible, but that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah.
Identity, I am. Fucking gold. Talk about habits. So again, it's kind of, I love how it kind of nicely sort of links in. It's like a nice, logical order to it. So talk to me about habits.
Okay, well, everything flows through habits. We are our habits. Whatever you see now here, you, me, Mikey, Chrissy, we're all from our habits. So I think we talk about, it's important to have habits in there, because otherwise we get too hung up on the goal. So I said we get too hung up on the end process. You need to have goals.
Yeah.
You need to have big star goals and process goals. Yeah. We talk about habits that underpin those goals, and actually having positive habits leads to the goal. It's not, but you're better off building the habits that you need to be the person that you want to be, and not worrying about the goal.
It's the foundation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got a solid foundation you can build the goal on.
Yeah.
And if you've got these wishy-washy habits, and your habits are staying up until midnight watching Netflix,
Correct,
when actually, if you went to bed at 9 o'clock, hint, hint, and read a book, hint, hint, then actually what you're doing is you're actually building good habits to build the life that you want.
Yeah, and that's all about, like, okay, so, and it links in, like, say, nicely to the other one. So what's your goals? Where are you now? What's the barriers, the blockers? What are the blockers? We can all, identify those. But, okay, so then what habits? Let's have a look at what successful people in your field that you want to get into are doing. What do? Do they all exercise? Yes. Do they all read? Yes. Do they all get enough sleep? Yes. Do they all eat healthily? Yes. These are high performance habits, by the way. But, but what's the other stuff that they're doing?
Cold showers. That's what I learned. For me, the reason why I started taking cold showers is because all the people I was reading about taking cold showers. I thought, that's working for them.
Do they energise themselves before they? So a lot of what I do is presenting in front of people, whatever age group. So I've learned to get there 20 minutes early and bang some music on that lifts me up, because it's all about energy. I need to energise these people. I need to positively affect that energy in the room. So I do that. That's one of the traits of somebody that does what I do.
How interesting is it though? Because when I'm doing this, again, it's all about energy transfer. Me and Mike talk about this. I meditate.
Yeah.
I'm like the calm before the storm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's bizarre. So, but again, it's just the same outcome. You're getting yourself up. I do that playing football, and in the gym, I use the music in that way. But when I'm speaking in any way, shape, or form, I have to get myself calm, and allow myself to sit with the feeling of nerves.
Yeah.
Because I still get them.
Yeah.
Sit with that feeling, and I then use that.
Yeah.
And so I go into like an almost meditative state, calm before the storm, just then go out and fucking go nuts.
But again, that's something in your field that you're successful at, that you're doing, that someone else can take on board. So it's identifying a habit.
Yeah. And what's good for you, because it's the same outcome. Me and you do the same thing. You're using one technique, and then some people might be like, well, actually, what happens is when I listen to music, I get too hyped up, I get too anxious, I get too worked up, I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm never going to be a public speaker.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Dan meditates. Oh, I'll try that. Oh, yeah, that calms me down. That works perfectly.
Yeah.
So again, there's no one way to skinning a cat.
No.
And again, same with maths. There's an outcome. There's loads. In some things, there's different ways of getting to it.
Yeah.
There's not one thing.
It's about building a sequence of powerful habits for you.
Work for you. Yeah, 100%.
That's the key. And then we also look at poor habits as well, and because a lot of them have got like stay up late on their Xbox and stuff like that. And we say, right, okay, so basically you're looking for a quick fix. That's what you're doing there. So because there's no doubt they all relieve stress, or they they all detox the body in some way. But if they over rely on those things, which quite often they do, they've only got like a few go-to habits for relieving stress, which are generally like staying up late on the Xbox, switching off watching Netflix, but binge watching Netflix, and they repeat it over and over for weeks and weeks and months and months and months. That becomes a negative habit, and we talk about stress. So the stress bucket. So everyone's got a stress bucket, yeah? So my stress bucket is probably about that big, to be honest, but I've got effective stress relievers. So it don't mean your stress bucket might be massive, but it doesn't mean it don't fill up quicker. It's what's your stress relievers. So if your stress relievers are like exercise, diet, sleep, reading, they're healthy. So that'll keep draining the stress out. Over-reliance on things like porn, drinking. For the these are for more for the adult viewers, but listeners should I say, not viewers.
Well, it was on YouTube.
Video games, Netflix. They do relieve stress. No two ways about it. But if used over time, they don't leave the space to help you solve the problems fully. They just clog it up. So what they do is they just fill your bucket back up. So you're relieving a little bit, but it's putting twice as much back in. So we talk about effective habits for relieving stresses and stuff like that. So that's what habits is about.
Fuck me, this one in podcasts. Right, I can't wait to listen back to it. I love episodes where I learn. I absolutely fucking love it. That's one of the biggest things for me. Is like always be open, always be a student.
Yeah.
Always be a student.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I'm here.
I'm right now, 100%. So right now I'm listening to you. I'm like, this is fucking gold. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm constantly like, what can I learn today? And I've learned
I'm
a hell of a
listening
lot.
to you. Yeah. I'm just not as I'm focusing more.
Oh no, listen. Like I said, with this, it's I can't. I'm very animated.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Do you know, when I'm learning stuff, like you're very calm and collected. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like if I'm pissed off, I'm pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm happy, I'm happy. Like
yeah.
I used to be a people pleaser. I used to try and match my emotions to the person. Mainly with females in relationships. But now I just say how I feel, and I'm loving this.
That's so powerful, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because I don't care. I'm unapologetic.
Yeah, I've learned that. I'm not a dickhead with it.
It's what's your intention.
Yeah.
Well, again, go back to intention.
Yeah.
My intention here about saying I'm learning stuff isn't to fucking suck you off. It's like no, mate, this is amazing. Like just to say to you, because I know this is your no, mate, you're doing fucking awesome. Like I'm learning from this. Because again, I know you said before that I'm genuinely learning from this.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. I'm learning something.
Yeah.
I think in life, I've learned that I will say my feelings now.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am. My truth is my truth,
no,
whether you like it or not.
I agree. I go about it slightly differently. So it's interesting. Like you say, I'm listening to you and learning how you. I'm like thinking, I might try that for myself. But I do mine on a scale. So if someone says, how are you? I'll say I'm a 6 or I'm a 7 today. And I do that because then I can frame it like, right, what do I need to make it an 8 day? So I know, so I can visualise it. That's why I do it. I'm a 7. So what do I need to make it 8 between now and when I go to bed? Or a 9. I like, again, it's a maths thing, isn't it?
No, mate, I love it. But like I said, one way skin, different way skin in the cat.
Yeah, but it's nice to share that.
Setbacks.
Well, it says what it says. It says what it says, doesn't it? You know, setbacks is about reflection. So it's about getting, and this is hard. This is probably the hardest one to do with a young adult.
And as an adult anyway, we spoke about this on previous podcasts with previous guests.
Yeah.
That reflection of anything, of life, yourself, mistakes you've made, reflection is fucking hard.
Is to look back, that's all it is really, is to look back and look at where something's not quite hit the mark you wanted to, or it's gone catastrophic, whatever it is. We try to sort of like review, I try and frame it because it makes it easier, the last 12 months. Let's talk about the last 12 months, obviously COVID, but other than that, in normal circumstances, how's your life gone in the last 12 months? What things have gone well and why? And what things haven't gone well? And what can we learn from it that means we'll persevere next time? And how can we get around that? You know, and how can we avoid it happening? Or was it avoidable? You know, because some things aren't avoidable, like you said earlier in this session. Some things, shit happens. And sometimes you've just got to say, it's happened. And I can't control it, and you can't control it, and no matter talking about it, it's going to control it. It was shit, it happened, and let's move on. But a lot of stuff you can reflect on, and there can be adjustments made. Because why did it happen?
I've got a formula for that, like we're in maths.
Great, yes. I like this theme.
Pain plus reflection
Yeah.
equals progress.
Ooh, like it.
Put
Yeah.
formula for that. As some kinds of time, like the pain of failure.
Yeah.
It's there. It's inevitable.
Say again.
Pain.
Yeah.
Plus reflection.
Yeah.
Equals progress.
Yeah.
You have to
It does,
have.
doesn't it?
You have to have the reflection. You're gonna have the pain.
Yeah.
You have to then add on the reflection
Yeah.
to learn from it, grow from it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Here's another one we use for this session. What I do with them is I always say to them, "What does practice make?"
Perfect.
No, doesn't exist. It makes better, and that leads into what we're talking about with this. So you never be perfect, but you always get better
And it's
if you reflect.
yes, and again, it's impossible to fail if you learn from it, because then that failure then becomes a lesson. Again, for any new listeners, use those as regularly. Final one. By the way, like I said, you're on fire here. Perseverance, which again kind of ties in.
Interview.
kind of ties into everything that we've sort of. It's basically like a summary. Like again, there's an order to clearly what you've done here, but perseverance.
What was the one we talked about before?
Setbacks.
So perseverance is really just summarising the previous. Not just that does it down. It's an important module. So perseverance is all about planning the next 12 months. So it's about, right, okay, what will your life look like in 12 months? Talk to me about it, and let's bring all the lessons we've learned from the other 4 modules together for perseverance. Because again, if you can build that picture of what you want your life to be in like for 12 months, again, I use 12 months because it's easy to frame, then you're going to persevere. And then we look back at all the lessons learned. Right, okay, so what's the potential pitfalls? What are the hiccups? What habits do you need? Where's your self belief at with this? How much do you believe you can do it? Is it a 6? Well, what do you need a 9 for this? So what are you going to do to get to a 9? So it's a reflective module that closes out the lessons learned from the other ones, but is needed because that is what makes you persevere. It's all those aspects that we've just discussed that makes certain people persevere and other people give up.
Mic drop. I'm going to ask you a question I ask all my guests to close it off.
You kept
nicely.
this quiet. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I should have told you this. I've got no doubt in my mind that you'll be able to nail this one.
I hope so.
What advice would you give someone right now that's listening to this episode that feels lost and out of control in their life? Whether that is a kid between the ages of 11 and 20 or an adult. Because again, you've clearly got this formula that works.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant, by the way. Like I said, in the way you've articulated that. So let's say someone's listening to this right now.
Yeah.
And I feel out of control and stuck in my life.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
You're not alone. You're definitely not alone. Don't feel like you're alone. There is thousands upon thousands of people out there feeling exactly the same way right now. The most important thing is go and find someone that you trust and speak to them and tell them how you're feeling. That's the first and most important step.
Love it. So I told you now that. But again, I love asking people that because everyone's got a different answer to it or a different spin on the same answer.
Yeah.
And the fact you're not alone is one of the biggest things because again, people do feel like they're alone. You're never alone. Yeah. Especially when it comes to mental health, whether it's anxiety, depression, whatever it is. Yeah. Like, you're not alone. No. But again, as a lot of other guests have said and you said as well, make sure you pick the right person to speak to. That is the most important thing. Yeah. Again, when it comes to those 5 close friends, you said you may even have 1 close friend. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Make sure you speak to them, not just the random person that's down the pub. Yeah. The actual person you know can help, and especially if you've got people like Jody, like Mikey, like me, even like Chrissy in your life that you know have been through some stuff. Yeah. Reach out because again, I guarantee you, if you drop me a message in my Instagram or again Mikey or even you by yourself, we're here to help and we want to help. And that's the thing. Like once you get yourself to the other side, you want to help. Yeah. Jody, this has genuinely been absolutely incredible.
Thank you, and I've enjoyed it.
Where can people find out more information about you?
Well, right now, I'm just building a website, so that will be launched in a couple of weeks' time. I'm just doing the video tonight, actually, after this. But yeah, you can go on LinkedIn. Really, is the best place for me right now. So it's just my name, Jody Seaton, on LinkedIn. You'll find me. Everything else is being built. The website.
Do you know what the website's going to be?
The
address.
No, I don't. No, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, when you do, what I'll do is I get Mikey to, when it does get launched. Yeah. Obviously, this is going to be on YouTube and it's going to be there for a while. What I'll do is I'll get Mikey when it is launched. Just stick at the bottom so it'll come across.
But you can. I've got Eos Leaderships on Facebook as well, so you can find Eos Leadership, and that's on Facebook.
Awesome. That'll be in the show notes, and also get Mikey to pop across the screen. Yeah. Jody, thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Take care.
Keep on keeping on.